Hey everyone, this is Amit Bandari of TalkCondo.com, and today we are at the incredibly impressive presentation center for Grand Central Mimico by Van Dyck, and we're here to talk about the very first towers, the Buckingham, and we're joined by Ryan Rabinovich, who is the founder, broker of record for Rare Real Estate, the sales and marketing company involved with this development. So Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming in today.
I'm really excited because there's so much to unpack. I mean, we're standing right next to this incredible context model. But before we dive into this, I think it's important to sort of discuss the developers, Van Dyck.
Yeah.
Very prominent developer, especially in the West End, strong pedigree, years of work. What can you very quickly tell us about Van Dyck?
Great question, Emmett. So Van Dyck has actually been in business for about 4 decades now. Mm-hmm. They've really cut their teeth from low-rise and kind of gradually came up to this kind of scale of development along the west end of the Golden Horseshoe. So they've been in Brampton, Mississauga, kind of the west end of the GTA. Yeah. And then slowly over the last few years, they've started coming into Etobicoke and doing several developments there. This is obviously by far the largest development that they've ever undertaken, but it really speaks to how ambitious that group is and what they want to accomplish as far as city building. And so we're so proud to be a part of it, and we're excited to bring you and your clients in to the fold to be part of this special development.
Well, we're really excited to be involved. So whenever we sort of talk about investments, especially to our investor clients, we often touch on catalysts, and this has a very special catalyst. It has this thing called the regeneration area, the RA designation, which, as far as I've read, it's a very rare designation that the city gives certain pockets that they want, a lot of growth to happen. But you're the expert in this, so I'm going to let you take over. What is RA, regeneration area? What does it mean ultimately for investors?
So, great question about the regeneration area. The unique thing about that designation is that essentially the city is mandating growth within this pocket, right? And what that means is that they want to see 4 things happen. They want to see increased density, residential density. They want to increase employment opportunities within this community. Right. They want to build brand new green spaces for the benefit of the new residents. And the 4th is that they want to build density around major infrastructure. And in this case, we're obviously anchored by the GO Station. So the way the city is trying to accomplish that is by saying to developers, come in, buy the land, and we will support that density and that rezoning that you need to undertake.
The infrastructure as well, right?
Exactly, the infrastructure, the road, the sewers, the parks, everything kind of gets invested and built up through the city and the private sector through these developers. Got it. And so the regeneration area, though, is incredibly rare. It's a very rare designation. Yeah. There are only 7 pockets in the entire city that have been appropriated as a regeneration area, and only 1 west of Dufferin. In the entire city, going from Steeles to the lake, from Dufferin to the 427, there's only 1 pocket that's been repurposed as a regeneration area, and this is it. Wow. And what it really means here is that there's a finite amount of land to be built, to be developed, and as soon as that land runs out, and it's going to run out quickly,
yes, it is.
prices are just going to skyrocket. And so any sophisticated investor should take advantage of this opportunity.
And also, going to that, it's also like you were saying, finite land. You've got low-rise to the north. Right. You can't build on there. Like this is it. This is essentially the pocket, and of course the green space there.
You have the low-rise to the north, you have the rail to the south, and you have Royal York to the west. And so you're really bound to this triangle, right? Exactly. And like I said, the amount of land is finite. It could house only about 15 high-rises, and I know that may sound like a lot, but within 5 years that sells out. And then there will not be a single other unit being built here. Imagine that. You're buying in an area where today we're already saying the cap of this entire community is 35 to 4,000 units to 4,500 units, and then you never get another single unit added. Right. But the access to the station is still anchored. The retail, the office is still here. So who gets to benefit? Those early adopters, the people who come in early and believe in the vision and understand the dynamic of buying into a pocket where supply would be down to 0 in just a matter of a few years.
Right. So that's very important, especially from an investment standpoint, because not only you're buying in a multi-phased mixed-use community, and you're buying in sort of a phase one, and obviously there's going to be progressive, built-in appreciation almost, but there's also a finite number that will eventually be built. That's it. That's it. The second catalyst I want to talk about is the GO Station.
Yeah.
Because it's a massive deal.
Massive.
It's a huge deal. And as far as I'm aware, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this regeneration area designation has been specifically done here because the Mimico GO Station is also a big part of the puzzle, the picture.
Definitely,
as well.
definitely.
And as far as I understand as well, the Mimico GO Station is also itself going through some revamping, modernization as well.
Right.
So let's talk about the GO line, because we can see it in the video here. This is the first phase.
Yep.
This is the GO Station. This is the GO line. This is it. And
exactly.
the accessibility here is, I don't think you can beat it. I'll let you take over, but this is...
You know what? John Van Dyke, the owner of Van Dyke Properties, actually jokingly once told me, Ryan, if you need to get to the city's core, from here, you need to roll out of bed and you're in the GO Station, and 2 stops away from you is Union. Right. So the GO Station is obviously a major story here, because what happened is, for the first time in its history, Metrolinx has partnered up formally with a private residential real estate developer, being Van Dyke.
Oh, wow.
They've partnered up with Van Dyke because Van Dyke pretty much owns all of the land right around the station.
Right.
And they've created an understanding where Van Dyke and their group will help them revamp, remodel, build a brand new station, state-of-the-art station.
Very cool.
And Metrolinx has actually came up with a formal announcement a couple of months ago, expecting that ridership here will more than triple in the next decade, mostly because of this partnership and this community coming up, right? And what we're seeing is a lot more people will start depending on transit, start to commute into the city via public transit. And is there a better way to travel into the city than the GO, where you have Wi-Fi the whole way, where you have comfortable seating the whole way? There's no better way to travel, right? But let's not just focus on the fact that the GO is only 2 stops away from Union. Let's focus on one other major part, right? Toronto currently, which is almost sad to say, we only have 2 major subway lines, right? We have the Yonge line, which has been built in the 1950s, Emmett. And we have the Bloor line, and the Bloor line has been built in the 1960s. It's been 60 years, Emmett, 60 years since Toronto has received a new subway line that travels through the core, right? We've seen the extensions to Vaughan, we've seen the LRT coming along Eglinton, so there has been enhancements as far as public infrastructure from a transit perspective. But a subway line that travels through those underserved areas in the core hasn't been created in 60 years. The government had now approved what they call the Ontario line.
It's a big deal.
And the Ontario line starts at Exhibition. You know where Exhibition is?
It's 1 stop over.
It's 1 stop away from us.
6 minutes
It's
drive.
1 stop away from us, and that is a station that actually creates connectivity to all of those underserviced areas in the downtown core, going all the way up to the Ontario Centre.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So not only are we 2 stops away from Union, we're also 1 stop away from the future Ontario line. And if you want to travel west, you could go to Burlington, Hamilton, Oakville, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, all on 1 train.
Incredible.
Right? And so the connectivity here is unprecedented, because not only can you travel close through the subway system, you could also travel far because you're on the GO system.
I want to put some of these timelines into context, because so I live just south of Yonge and Eglinton, and for me to get to Union Station is about 20-something minutes. This is actually faster to get to Union. It's 14 minutes as far as I saw on the GO line schedule, and it's roughly 6-minute ride to Exhibition, which means 6 minutes ride to get onto the Ontario line, which cuts right through the University line and the Yonge line, which is incredible. Not only that, there's this accessibility, but there's, we can't forget the Gardiner as well, right? You're right off the Gardiner. That's why this whole pocket has become so popular, right? Because
there's so much infrastructure around us here. It's really unbelievable. We have, like you said, the Gardiner. We have the GO. We have tons of employment opportunities around us. We have pockets that are still growing and have a lot of growth potential around us.
Absolutely.
We're minutes away from Sherway Gardens, the shopping mall.
Of course.
We're minutes away to Billy Bishop Airport and Pearson Airport. And so we're surrounded by it all, and of course on the south we're bound by the lake.
By the
right?
lake,
we're
of course.
minutes away
Completely
from the lake,
Ontario.
which is just one of the most incredible lifestyle amenities you could have.
And that's also a short walk as well. You're not far from here. Yeah,
it's
not
minutes
far
to
either.
walk, and the lake, what the lake here gives you along this pocket is it actually gives you tons of park, public spaces, recreational spaces right on the water.
Right.
So you have those elements as well. We have it all here.
And the views, of course, right? Because
Spectacular.
looking
Spectacular. Yeah.
amazing. So the next catalyst is the community itself. I want to talk about the community because this is a huge deal. Of course, ultimately we're going to be talking about phase 1 tower, the first towers, but you've also got the future phases as well. So what can you tell us about this community? Because from what I understand it is definitely a mixed-use community. So we touched on it with the RA designation, commercial, retail.
Great question about the community. Obviously, this being a master plan community, there is so much to it. There's so much depth here.
Yep.
To me, from a high level perspective, value in real estate is really determined by how many layers of different value adds do you have in a community. And I'll tell you what I mean. As an example, if you're buying a building in a core, you have obviously the location, which is a value. Perhaps it's on Yonge Street, and maybe that's a value. Close to employment, maybe that's a value. And that's where it really stops. You have maybe 3 or 4 layers of value. This master plan community actually compounds 6 or 7 different layers that contributes to its overall value. Right? You have the retail, you have the office, you have the residential density, you have the lake, you have the transit, you have the accessibility around us, you have the brand new green space. We didn't even talk about a 12-acre park, 500,000 square feet of brand new green space right outside your front door. There's just so much here. And when you're thinking, in most cases, for a community to offer you all of this, they have to be kind of out in the GTA. They can't really be in Toronto. And when they're out in the GTA, they're missing one critical component generally, which is the transit. Here, we're in a 416, south of Etobicoke, with the transit, with the density, with the retail, with the office, all of these different
with the connectivity
value creators that make this not only an incredible investment opportunity for these early adapters, but also an incredible early purchase opportunities for people who actually want to make this their future home.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's how we've designed that.
Amazing. So we've spoken about the community. It's multiple layers. Absolutely. It's a very, very critical piece. And of course, it's a critical piece for the success of the community moving forward into the future. How much of a demand there will be. And if there's all these layers, I think it's one of those where a lot of people will gravitate to anyways. Mimico is a very popular spot, especially for the young crowd, the first-time home buyers, the young families. But I think this, absolutely, I agree. I think this adds a lot of value. I want to sort of drill it down further now, and I think we can maybe do a circle round into the first phase now, the Buckingham.
Sure.
So we're in front of the model for the Buckingham 3 towers. We're going to just have Ryan go through some of the specific details, the commercial, residential, amenity space, and the specifics.
Sure. We won't take too long. For me, we've tried to simplify it, not by design, by pure coincidence, but we have a principle that helps us remember exactly why this is so special. So first of all, the community here is comprised out of 3 buildings. We have the north building, center building, and the south building. Our north building is 12 stories and has 106 units. Our center building is 26 stories with 264 units. And our south building is 37 stories with 380 units. So like I said, total, we have 750 units. So lots of opportunity here. Now, even though the buildings are connected by a common podium, every single building has their own entrance, their own lobby, their own security, their own concierge. The amenities, of course, are connected. The 20-30-40 principle is applied here. So an easy way to remember is on the ground floor, we have 20,000 square feet of retail. Then we have 3 floors, 30,000 square feet of office. And then on the 5th floor is where we have all our amenities. And we have 40,000 square feet of amenities here.
That's a lot of square footage.
Emmett, our gym alone here is 7,500 square feet, co-working space, 7,500 square feet. As you can see, we have a ton of outdoor spaces as well. Van Dyke Properties has literally thought of every single thing that a buyer would need to make their condo feel truly like their home and create a sense of community within the residents of this building. And so we're so proud to unpack and unveil our amenities when we launch the project, and of course you guys will have the first priority to view it.
Awesome. I want to put one thing into perspective here. So the south building, the GO line is literally on this side, right?
There. Yeah, it's literally right here. So, like I said, you roll out of bed and you're at the GO Station, and then you kind of making your way to Union Station. If you wanted to grab a bite downtown, even though we have some incredible retail and restaurants already around us, I'm not even talking about the retail that's coming. Already around us, we have so many great spots along Lakeshore and along Royal York.
And that's what Mimico is really known for as well, right?
Exactly.
This independent cafe, restaurant, coffee shop scene as well. Awesome.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ryan.